This is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson, in with your VON Major News package for today, Thursday, 15th November 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, almost 3,000 registered diabetics here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and 5 prisoners pardoned and released. Regionally, Antiguan woman threatens legal action over son's death. Internationally, town in California will need total rebuild in the wake of wildfires. And in sports, LeBron James passes Wilt Chamberlain on NBA all-time scoring list in Lakers win. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. Almost 3,000 persons are registered as persons living with diabetes here in St. Kitts and Nevis. This is based on figures provided by the St. Kitts Diabetes Association. 2,500 and health authorities here on Nevis, 4,447 for a total of 2,947, and came as the Federation joined the rest of the world in observing World Diabetes Day on Thursday, 14th November 2018. November 14th is recognized globally as World Diabetes Day, and the theme for 2018 and 2019 is the family and diabetes. Diabetes, commonly referred to as high blood sugar, can strike anyone from any walk of life. According to www.diabetesresearch.org, the number of persons worldwide being diagnosed with the non-communicable disease is increasingly dramatically. The agency says in the last decade, the cases of people living with diabetes jumped almost 50% to more than 422 million. Diabetes is one of the leading causes of morbidity in St. Kitts and Nevis. 5 prisoners have been pardoned and released from Her Majesty's Prison with effect from November 15, 2018. His Excellency, the Governor-General Sir S. W. Tapley Seaton, CGMG, CVO, QC, JP, acting in accordance with the advice of the Chairman of the Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, the Honorable Vance Amory, the Minister designated under Section 62, Number 2 of the Constitution, extended grace and mercy under the following 5 persons and ordered that the said persons be released. Mr. Ronald Brown, age 54, who had been sentenced to imprisonment for a term of 50 years for the offense of murder. He has served 26 years. Mr. Maurice Weeks, age 55, who had been serving at the Queen's pleasure for the offense of indecent assault. He has served 26 years. Mr. Vaughn Sweeney, age 62 years, and presently in the Carding Home, and had been serving at the Queen's pleasure for the offense of store breaking and larceny, and had served 38 years. Mr. Wendell Ward, age 60, who had been sentenced to life imprisonment for the offense of murder, and has served 33 years. Mr. Melvin Lewis, age 62, who had been sentenced to the imprisonment for 40 years for the offense of murder, and has served 32 years. The Superintendent of Prisons submitted reports in respect of these persons that would not be a threat to society and could benefit from a reprieve and be released from prison. The condition has also been imposed that should there be any infraction of the law, that the person who breaks the law and was granted reprieve would be again incarcerated to serve the rest of the time he had been originally sentenced. His Excellency has also been advised by the Ministry that the committee will continue to work to ascertain if any other prisoners who have been recommended would be given reprieve using the same criteria set out above, and will engage in ongoing discussions with the officers of Her Majesty's Prison and the police. In police news, police seized an illegal firearm on Wednesday, November 14th, following an operation in the West Farm area in St. Kitts conducted by a team comprised of members of the Tactical Unit and the Regional Security Service, RSS. The firearm, one 9mm Smith & Wesson pistol, was found on an empty plot of land. Members of the crime scene unit in the forensic department arrived and processed the scene and took the weapon into custody for further analysis. No ammunition was found with the weapon. The same team also found 4 12-gauge shotgun rounds during an operation today, Thursday, November 15th, in an abandoned property in St. Johnston Village. The total number of firearms seized so far for 2018 now stands at 35. Still in police news. A police press release has revealed that a man from Bastair, St. Kitts, was arrested and charged on Tuesday, November 13th, for the offense of indecent assault. The offense was allegedly committed on October 31st, 2018. The victim reported the matter to the police last Friday, November 9th. Although the police's press release did not reveal the identity of the person who was arrested and charged, unconfirmed reports say that the man has a high position in the Team Unity administration. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. In more national news,
by an explosion due to propane gas that filled the room. There was a leak coming from the gas stove.
Acting Commissioner of Police Mr. Hilroy Brandy. Acting Commissioner Brandy was given an update on the investigations into an explosion and fire in a dormitory which houses students attending the Medical University of the Americas MUA here on Nevis. The Charleston Fire and Rescue Services responded to reports of an explosion at the dormitory on Wednesday, October 3rd at about 9 p.m. On arrival, they found an apartment in the said dormitory to be damaged by fire and 2 female students badly injured.
The stove was inside. It's a single bedroom apartment. So the stove was inside the kitchen. And the knob, one of the knob, was malfunctioned. And the propane gas leak unknown to the occupant. Just one person, a female, was occupying the room at the time, and one of her friends came over the night to study when she went to light a cigarette. So when the explosion took place.
Acting Commissioner of Police Mr. Hilroy Branding. The 2 students are presently hospitalized in the United States, receiving treatment for their injuries. The Alexandra Hospital Expansion Project is back on track. That is according to Junior Minister with Responsibility for Health in the Nevis Island Administration, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams. In making her address at the Nevis Island Assembly 5th sitting for 2018, which was held today, the Minister explained that after some hiccups, the project has resumed.
The reason why I wanted to bring this here, Mr. President, is that number one, to quell the chatter that is in the public domain, and number two, to allay the fears of the Nevis public that the project is alive and well, and it is indeed continuing. Mr. President, we all know that projects of this nature, the size, it is a sizable project. It is important not only to this government, but also to the people of Nevis, and we have to get it right. And so there are times when projects like these would meet certain glitches, and so as a cabinet, as a government, we have to recalibrate and we have to come again. And that is what we have done, Mr. President.
The Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams. Work on the $19 million Alexandra Hospital Expansion Project began May 1st and is expected to last for 18 to 24 months. The first phase of the project cost $12 million with a $7 million grant from the SIDF, with the second phase estimated to cost $7 million. The first and second phases of the project entailed mobilizing the contractors and purchasing the building's steel frame. The project is jointly funded by the Sugar Industry Diversification Fund, SIDF, and the administration. And finally, the first ambassador to represent the Republic of Romania in St. Kitts and Nevis, Her Excellency Gentiana Serbu, said her visit to St. Kitts and Nevis as a visitor and ambassador is helpful and will enable her to send the right message to her homeland. She made the comment when she paid a courtesy call on the Honorable Mark Brantley, St. Kitts and Nevis's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Aviation and Premier of Nevis, at his Penny's Estate office on November 13, 2018, one day after presenting her credentials to Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton. Romania is set to take on the presidency of the European Union (EU) shortly and is also a candidate for the non-permanent seat on the Security Council. The ambassador is visiting the Federation from November 10th to 15th. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
We are in the hurricane season and danger is right upon us. That is why we at the Bank of Nevis Limited have decided that it is time we finish your home. Get that well-needed fence or make some minor upgrades to your home. On a more serious note, install some shutters to keep your family safe during this hurricane season. Visit us or contact us today at 1-869-469-5564. The Bank of Nevis Limited will always stay committed to improving the quality of life.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Out of Antigua. The autopsy results on Sean Warner, who is believed to have been electrocuted, will determine whether his mother, Sandra Warner, will sue Caribbean Development Antigua Limited, CDAL. No date has been set for the post-mortem, but the woman said the coroner's inquest is due to begin today, November 15th. The woman told the media she has already spoken with the law firm Thomas John, indicating her intentions after having allegedly witnessed her son being electrocuted when he came into contact with a loose electrical wire on CDAL, Jolly Harbour compound on November 6th. Acknowledging that money would not restore her son's life, Warner said that if she proceeds and wins the case, any monetary compensation as a result of the lawsuit would help take care of the 2 children he has left behind. 26-year-old Sean Warner was allegedly electrocuted in front of his mother, 2 sons, and at least 1 other witness, a woman. The mother said they saw when he came into contact with an exposed electrical wire on a pole which was repaired earlier in the day. Sean Warner and his mother were leaving Jolly Harbour on the night of the incident around 6:35 p.m. when they encountered challenges with the security guard, who reportedly said she did not have the key to open the gate to let them out. The mother was allegedly walking away from the gate towards her son when she saw what was happening to him after he came into contact with the wire. Then he fell to the ground and hit his head. The mother operates a food business in the area. Out of Jamaica. Emotions ran high on Courtney Walsh Drive in Halfway Tree on Wednesday afternoon as persons pondered the motive behind a brazen attack on a business owner. Businessman Ren Basil Malcolm, the operator of a bike store, was shot 7 times all over his body, including once in the head. According to an alleged witness, minutes after 1 p.m., Malcolm was attacked by a lone gunman inside his establishment located on the popular street. The gunman shot him several times after a brief conversation. According to eyewitness, a vehicle was waiting for the perpetrator. However, after being challenged by the licensed firearms holder, the driver reportedly sped away, leaving his accomplice behind. Meantime, 80 families from around Dominica will soon be able to live more comfortably after their homes were destroyed during the passage of Hurricane Maria last year. That's because they will now receive new homes funded by the Australian government through the International Organization for Migration, IOM. The organization made a symbolic presentation of these homes to the government of Dominica during a handover ceremony held on Wednesday. Out of the Turks and Caicos Islands. During the week of November 5, 2018, the Turks and Caicos Islands TCI Commissioner of Police James Smith traveled to Miami to meet fellow Chief of Police Daniel Oates of the Miami Beach Police Department following months of informal partnerships. The two signed a letter of agreement which formally enables officers from both forces to collaborate and provide mutual assistance. Already, Miami Beach officers have traveled to the TCI to provide training in the use of Axon's taser, a less lethal weapon, and has seen the donation of a prisoner transport vehicle which will arrive in the territory soon. Plans are well advanced to deliver further training to first and second level supervisors with a program designed by Miami Beach trainers in consultation with local staff. Collaboration has also begun on forensic capability and additional training in this ever-developing field. And finally, out of St. Lucia. Healthcare professionals and civic organizations, including the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, SLMDA, the St. Lucia Nurses Association, together with the Civil Service Association, CSA, and the St. Lucia Labour Party, SLP, have called on the government of St. Lucia to take immediate action on the worsening healthcare crisis in the country, or else. The situation has come to a boil following unresolved occupational safety and health violations, inadequate staffing, insufficient medical supplies, wait times of 4 days to access a hospital bed, and worsening healthcare infrastructure. Acting Executive Director of the Victoria Hospital, Brenda Collects, released a statement on Monday regarding the collapse of a ceiling at Victoria Hospital, which reads in part, "On Saturday morning, November 10th, during the inclement weather, the staff-based station on maternity ward collapsed. The ceiling collapsed. We know that the infrastructure is a very old one and is already compromised, so as a result of that, the ceiling came down." The St. Lucia government has been struggling to adopt a new development strategy in line with the World Bank ethos. If you have a healthy nation, the level of productivity is greater. If you have a well-educated and equipped workforce, your output is also greater, albeit in the midst of deteriorating economic, social, healthcare, and infrastructure conditions island-wide. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. The director of U.S. Emergency Agency says a California town ravaged by wildfire will need a total rebuild, job that will take several years. Brock Long, administrator of Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA, said the damage to Paradise was one of the worst disasters he had ever seen. So far, 56 people have been found dead in the campfire that hit the town, but 130 more remain missing. About 9,000 firefighters are currently battling wildfires across the state. At a news briefing on Wednesday by officials, the director of California's fire service said progress is being made to contain the blazes. White House Deputy National Security Advisor Maria Ricardel has left her post following a high-profile row with U.S. First Lady Melania Trump. A White House spokeswoman said Mrs. Ricardel departs the White House to transition to a new role within the administration. She did not elaborate. Mrs. Trump this week said that Mrs. Ricardel no longer deserves the honor of serving in this White House. The two reportedly feuded during a tour of Africa in October. The removal of Mrs. Ricardel comes amid reports in U.S. media that President Donald Trump is considering a shake-up in the White House West Wing. And finally, the British Prime Minister Theresa May has appealed for unity to back the Brexit deal negotiated with the EU, warning that if it is rejected, no one can be sure what consequences will follow. On a day of several ministerial resignations, she told a news conference that British voters wanted the government to get on with delivering Brexit in the national interest.
My approach throughout has been to put the national interest first, not a partisan interest, and certainly not my own political interest. I do not judge harshly those of my colleagues who seek to do the same, but who reach a different conclusion. They must do what they believe to be right, just as I do. I'm sorry that they've chosen to leave the government, and I thank them for their service. But I believe with every fibre of my being that the course I have set out is the right one for our country and all our people.
That brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
Some new tires.
So you're checking?
And tires are so expensive these days.
So you ain't checking?
If I could only find some that fit my budget.
Boy, TDC Automotive is having a big tire sale for the entire month of November.
So why didn't you just tell me that before?
Oh yeah! Get 40% off all tires for coaster buses and light trucks. 7.00 R15, 7.00 R16, 7.5 R14, and more. For the month of November at the TDC Automotive Division. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In basketball, LeBron James has become the fifth highest point scorer in NBA history, passing Wilt Chamberlain as the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Portland Trail Blazers 126-117. The 33-year-old beat Chamberlain's record of 31,419 points with a free throw late in the fourth quarter. James, who now has 31,425 career points, scored a season-high 44 points. It was the highest score by a Lakers player since Kobe Bryant's 60 in his final game in April 2016. Lakers and Philadelphia 76ers legend Chamberlain, a four-time most valuable player, won 2 NBA championships in 1967 and 1972 in his 14-year career. He is also the only player to have scored 100 points in an NBA game. In a 15-year career, the four-time MVP has won 3 NBA titles, 2 at Miami Heat and 1 at Cleveland Cavaliers. In cricket, Roshan Silva hit a resolute 85 to frustrate England and give Sri Lanka a lead of 46 on day 2 of an evenly poised second test in Palakkad. Resuming on 26 for 1, Dimuth Karunaratne and Dhananjaya De Silva made half centuries before England reduced the host to 165 for 6 shortly after lunch. But Roshan negotiated England's spinners and forged 4 defiant lower order partnerships to take Sri Lanka to 336. Night watchman Jack Leach played out the last over as England closed on 0-all. In football, Chelsea allegedly faces the threat of a 2-year transfer ban following a FIFA investigation into their signing of foreign under-18 players, including former striker Bertrand Traoré. Based on documents from Football League's French website Mediapart, claims 19 Chelsea signings have been looked at in a 3-year-long investigation. Mediapart alleges that 14 of those signings were under the age of 18. In a statement, Chelsea said it had fully cooperated with FIFA. The club also said it had provided comprehensive evidence demonstrating its compliance with the applicable FIFA regulations. According to Mediapart, FIFA's Integrity and Compliance Unit has recommended Chelsea are handed a transfer ban covering 4 transfer windows as well as a fine of £45,000. It was first reported in September 2017 that Chelsea were being investigated. And finally, India secured their place in the Women's World T20 semi-finals with a 52-run win over Ireland in Guyana. Mithali Raj dropped on 3 and 39, hit 4 fours and a 6 in a stylish 51, but Ireland's bowlers stuck to their task to restrict India to 145 for 6. But only 2 players reached double figures as Ireland closed on 93 for 8 as they remained winless from 3 games. India faced the other unbeaten side in Group B, Australia, on Saturday to determine who will finish top. Summarize scores: India 145 for 6 in 20 overs, Raj 51, Garth 2 for 22, Ireland 93 for 8 in 20 overs, Joyce 33, Poonam Yadav 3 for 25. India won by 52 runs. That's it for sports. The General Weather Report is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy with a 60% or moderate chance of showers mainly after midnight. Weather tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of showers. Winds are easterly at 22 to 33 kilometers per hour or 12 to 18 knots. Seas are 1.8 to 2.4 meters or 6 to 8 feet. The small craft advisory remains in effect. Sunrise tomorrow would be at 6:15 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Thursday, 15th November 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, almost 3,000 registered diabetics here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and 5 prisoners pardoned and released. Regionally, Antiguan woman threatens legal action over son's death. Internationally, town in California will need total rebuild in the wake of wildfires. And in sports, LeBron James passes Wilt Chamberlain on NBA all-time scoring list in Lakers win. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson wishing you a pleasant evening.